Good afternoon, Brian with Grand Roofing. We did a short little video, on this vent pipe right here. We're going to do a little deeper dive video of it just because I think I'm pretty confident I found the leak here. So let's get into it, see what we can learn, see if you have a similar issue, you can address it. So the video was basically just kind of showing the section here. Another roofer was here last year thinking it was the chimney. Wasn't even on the same facet, same section as the leak. Talked about what these do, why, and the vent, what they do. They typically rust on the inside. It's either that and a dome cap will cover it, or in this case, what I think was this little seam right here on the short because it was loose and it was wet inside. But trying to use this rag to dry it off because I'm going to recaulk this. Every time I would do this, you would see water shoot out of there. You see all that water come out, and it's done this a handful of times. I'd wipe it away, squeegee it again, and there's more water that shoots out. It's starting to make my rag real wet. So I'm pretty confident the amount of water that's worked its way up in here is getting in, working its way through the penetration of any substrates they have, working its way down the pipe in through the wall, and eventually getting down into the basement area. So it's coming in a bedroom upstairs, right at their door, in kind of a closet right here on this side, and down and through the first floor. There's a bathroom there, which is what this is venting, and the plumbing in the house, and through into the basement. That's where it's dripping out ultimately on the ground. Right there's the culprit. I'm pretty confident that's the issue. Why that came up, I don't know. It could have been that whoever did this didn't use the right material. Maybe they didn't prime it and they just stuck it down. So when you're working with EPDM, you're using certain cleaners and chemicals to prep the surface. It's more of a chemical process, and then you're pressing it in. What I've seen a lot of people do is they'll just take the hat, the witch hat, what I call them, because it looks like witch hat. There's a wax paper on it. They peel it off, stick it down. You need to make sure that the proper processes are followed. Like, make sure the material is clean and ready for it. Then you put a primer down. The primer has to come out past your work site. Once the primer is there and it's chemically altering the structure of the rubber, it's dry. We call it flashed off. It's like dry to the touch. That's when you peel the backing off and slip the hat down. Then you have to press it with a silicone roller, working it in, and then you caulk it. Given the fact that it's coming up like this, they probably didn't have primer on it, or enough primer on it, or did not press it into the material strong enough, and they're more so relying on what sticky tackness it had and then the caulking. So I'm going to try to squeegee more of that water out of there. There's going to be more coming out. See it there? More of it. Just get that worked out as much as I can. What little residual will remain will eventually work its way into something and hopefully dry out, but we got more rain this entire week coming. So I'm going to just do what I can to dry this up here, and what we're going to use is the GEOCEL brand. It's one of my favorite roofing products, the 4500 roof sealant. It clearly says right on there, this is really worn out too in my toolbox, but it's made for it adheres to a lot of things, but it's made for EPDM rubber like this. You can clearly see right there, EPDM. It's a little witch hat. So this will bond to it. It can work with a little wet, but being dry is ideal. That's why I brought my other little glove up, because once I squirt it on here, I'm going to use the glove, my finger in it, to actually press it and work it onto the rubber. And that should stop the issue right here. It should take care of this. So going to let them know about the actual top here, because it is supposed to rain. It's supposed to rain the rest of this week, pretty heavy again moving in. We got a little dry time. I'm going to do this as a little freebie for them. And if it stops it, then great. And if not, the next thing is to put a cap on this right here. So instead of changing all the plumbing inside the house, it's still going to vent. It's not under any kind of pressure. It's not a pressure potable water or anything. It's just venting the fumes out from the sewer or septic. So a vent cap can do very well on that. Unless you want to rip your walls apart and rip the pipe out and do all that, then hey, more power to you, but that's a simple solution. It's just a little plastic cap for it. You don't normally see these this small coming through the roof. They're usually bigger, especially in my area, because they're allowing a larger opening for the frost to form. Because there's a lot of moisture coming up through there, hits the cold, it'll freeze up. That's why I usually see them up to a 3-inch or so, and then reduce down just in the heated area, well, not heated attic, but the attic area right before it goes into the heated part of the house. So if you learned anything good, if you could have given it a thumbs up, smash that thumbs up button. I greatly appreciate it. Until next time, be safe, and we'll see you on the next one.